What's up, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, and the overall markets. Just note that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. Deposit $2,000 and you'll get 30. The offer ends very soon at the end of March. Anyways, as far as the market's going, we're remaining bullish on SPY as we're making higher highs and higher lows. But I do have a warning about this move because we're approaching some tough resistance. Now, why is the market pumping? First off, just know that we have two main catalysts. The first one is the fact that PCE was quite decent. Everything was in line with expectations. We had core PCE month over month at 0.2%. That's exactly what we predicted. That's what the expectation was. The PCE month over month report for all items is at 0.3%, aligned with expectations. Year over year for PCE of all items is at 2.6%, aligned with expectations. And then core PCE year over year is at 2.8%, aligned with expectations. Now, we're going to be looking for some volatility at 9:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time as we have the Chicago PMI report. So watch and see what kind of reaction we get. So watch that very closely, especially when this data is released. Besides that, we had some good news from Aapl. Although Apple's iPhone sales and Chinese revenue did decrease, what's good is the fact that they had good guidance that got a lot of investors excited. And then on top of that, we're seeing more buyers who have stepped in. There's a lot of anticipation of good revenue, at least for the next quarter. And there's been a lot of talk about their, sales showing some strength. So, if anything, investors are excited about that. Also, many people were expecting them to miss on earnings, but they actually got record earnings despite that. So, the share price of Apple is still soaring despite the bad expectations. That's more positive for the market right now. And ExxonMobil announced earnings. It has topped Q4 estimates, especially as their production is up quite a bit. Net income is at $7.61 billion at $1.72 a share. Not bad. And they also saw over 50% of the production increase. So that's actually not bad. This was exceeding expectations, which is a good piece of news for them. That's why their share price is up. Anyways, let's talk about SPY and the others now. That's enough about news about the markets. So notice this on SPY, okay? We have this resistance zone between 608 and then 610, okay? When we hit 608 to 610, historically, SPY has gone many rejections. So you want to be very careful. As far as SPY goes, I am seeing that there's this gap down here around 605. We've pumped so far really nicely from 604 all the way up to about 608 already to fill this gap. So it hit my 608 target already. It is possible we try to go higher, but watch 608 to 610 as a tough resistance because historically, every time SPYs hit that area, we have gotten some rejections. So you want to be very careful. Now, at this level, just keep in mind that if SPY hits resistance here, we have to break 610 to be bullish. If we break 610 and hold above it, I think the source to about 612 and eventually 615 for the next leg up. That's the bullish case if we could break past 610. If we can't break past 610, if we hit 608 and we can't break past the 610 area, there's going to be a risk of us returning to like 604 or below. So just keep that in mind, guys. I'll be watching these levels very, very closely. For me to turn bearish, I want to see SPY lose 600. As of right now, we're well above that, so we're not necessarily bearish. But I am warning you to be a little bit careful because 608 to 610 is known for being a tough resistance on SPY, at least historically, and we'll have to see what the reaction is right up here. So yes, it is possible tries to get up into this range, but then watch and see, do we break out to be bullish? If we break 610, look for 612 to 615. If we don't hold above 608, there's going to be a risk of us returning to like 604. So watch these levels very closely and just be very careful. We were correct about us pumping more. We did pump a lot more so far. The QQQ is up quite a bit in the after hours. After PCE down, we got a PCE pump. But I'm just saying to be careful. If you look at the QQQ, 533 to 535 is historically a tough resistance. So if we do push more to fill this gap, great. But then there's another gap down here at 524. We have to hold 521. If we don't hold this, we could be dipping back down towards lower levels, such as like 515. And if we're bullish, you want to see us essentially hold above not only 530, but break to like 533 or so, and then eventually higher levels like 535 plus. So I'll be watching these levels at least very, very closely just to see what kind of reaction we get. So please keep that in mind. These are your levels to watch for. On the QQQ, the low 530s. 533 to 535 is going to be a tough resistance. We've pumped close to it. We'll see if we can break past 530 or not. If we can't hold above 530, this could kind of pump a bit and start dipping back down towards 523 or below. If we hold above 530, look for 533 to 535. I hope that's as clear as possible. Yes, this could try to go a little higher, but then once we fill this gap, we'll watch and see if we get a rejection or not, because every time we've hit 533 to 535 historically, we've seen the QQQ reject. So I'm just here to give you guys a warning about that. Yes, we could pump more, but just be careful. On the Russell 2000, we have a range right here. If we break 230, we're looking for an attempt to push for 232 plus or above. If we can't hold above 230, there's going to be a risk of us returning to like 227 and eventually 226.5, which is where our imbalances happen to be. So it could go either way. Just keep that in mind, guys. It depends on what kind of rejection or level we get. Can we break above 230 to remain bullish? If not, we could be turning back down. ES is looking bullish, but just know historically between 61.25 and 61.60, we've had rejections. Okay, so yes, it is very possible we try to push a little bit more. It's possible we try to push to fill this gap fully. But we have to try to hold above 61.60 to remain bullish. If we break this, we're going to be looking for an attempt to push for 6,200. If we can't hold above 61.68, we're looking for a move back down. Watch the 6,100 area as our main level of support. If that fails us, we could be tipping back down to 60.80. So lose 6,100, we're looking for a move back down to 60.80 or below. And break and hold above 61.25, we're looking for an attempt to push to 61.60. So watch that very, very closely. For NQ, we look bullish. We have a gap to fill at 21,866 and 22,000. I think that we could attempt to push closer to those levels. There could be some buyers that return up here. Then we'll see if we reject and end up losing this support right here back down towards 21,600. That would turn us back down if we reject. If we break out, if we break past 22,000, we're going to remain bullish and just try to continue to go. So I think that we could go a little higher. We might just try to fill this gap to about 21,800 and watch and see if we get that rejection or not, because the last time NQ hit 22,000 rejected, the closer we get to 22,000, the more I would say to be careful, because it is a tough resistance. Could we go higher? Sure, but watch resistance just to be safe. Bitcoin is trying to ride this trend line. As long as we don't lose 103,500 to start dumping back down to 102,000, we're still riding this trend line nicely. We could continue to push higher for 106,600. For Nvidia, we're doing a good job at basing at this 120 to 117 area. If we could break and hold above this trend line, I'm looking for an attempt to push back up to 132. If we lose 120 again, the support right here, if we lose this, we could be dipping to like 115 if 117 fails us. As of right now, we're making a higher low here, so I like this setup, and this could be favoring a push like this. If we break out of this to the upside, we're looking for an attempt for 132.5. So I hope we base here and we try to see a bounce on Nvidia. We've dumped too hard too fast. Hopefully we see a move back up to 132.5, and we'll give it some time to develop. Tesla has a tough trend line of resistance. The yellow trend line has been our resistance for quite a while. Just keep that in mind, guys. That's where Tesla has been essentially consolidating. Every time we've hit this trend line, we've seen Tesla just reject many, many times. So it is due to see a big bounce, and I really hope that we end up getting that. So as far as the future goes, we'll be watching some very, very key levels at least for this, just to see if we could break out. If we break past 405, we're looking for an attempt for 414, then 420. If we can't break past 405, we're going to be returning to 390. So watch those levels just to be safe. Aapl looks bullish. We have a nice inverse head and shoulders like structure right here. I want to see this continue to break out. This could help the market push higher. If we hold above 248, we're looking for an attempt to get up to 250. This is a bullish catalyst, and I hope that the market tries to bounce as a result. So please watch your levels like very, very closely, at least as time goes on. For other factors out there, we also happen to have Coinbase. So Aapl looks bullish as long as we're above 248. I'm going to be looking for a bullish continuation, by the way. Looking at Coin, we're looking bullish. We could be looking for an attempt to get back up to 305 as long as we don't lose 292. We're looking for the 310s as a potential target, so just keep that in mind. I think there's a very good chance we try to get up to those levels. For others out there, we also happen to have new developments that are going on because of Bitcoins. Just keep that in mind. And then we'll have to see what happens from there. Looking at Amzn, as long as we're above 235, this is going to be favoring a push for about 240 again. It's very resilient. It's doing a good job at holding up. If not, if we end up losing 235, we're looking for a move closer to 230 to come. Just keep that in mind, guys. Those are going to be some very, very key levels to watch for. As right now, looks a bit more bullish as long as 235 holds. Meta looks bullish. As long as you don't lose to 673 and then 670, we're favoring a push higher for essentially the 700s. So just keep that in mind. I think there's a very, very good chance we attempt to try to push higher. So watch your levels very, very closely. So I'll be seeing if we can try to break this resistance or not. But overall, I think it's doing a good job. Microsoft has this rejection here. We need to try to hold at about 412. As long as that holds, we're going to be looking for a bounce for about 425. If we lose 412, we could be dipping, so watch it very closely. Google looks a bit more bullish. We'll have to see if we can try to hold above 202. As long as 202 holds, we're looking for an attempt to push towards 205 and much higher levels. I just want to see it hold 202 to remain bullish to push for 205 or above. I think it's looking quite good so far. The next is coming down to fill its gap. That's a good sign for the markets. So my view is very simple. The market is looking bullish, right? Many of these stocks look bullish, but we have to wait and see how we end up reacting to resistance because historically, SPY is projected off 608 to 610 every time it hit it. So we'll see if we break 610 or not. If not, we're looking for a move back down. So watch the levels, guys. I thank you all so much for listening. Have a good one, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for listening, and peace out.